Should be anytime now.
Can you all see us and hear us? We love you.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to Table Read Tuesday, where we are reading an original script by Phil Hay titled City Song. So it is not produced. Phil entered every single one of our contests last year, and we figured honorable mention he's going to get read this year. So we'll go around the room introducing ourselves, and we may have someone joining us later as well, and Phil will join us after our discussion. So Erin, if you could introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Erin Lillis. I am a voice actor. Happy to be here on Table Read Tuesday, playing a bunch of parts tonight.
Thank you. And Ari?
Hi, I'm Ari. I'm a new voice actor. I will be covering 4 parts today.
Thank you. And Heather?
Hi, my name is Heather Lee Cameron. I'm an actress. I'm a writer. I'm a filmmaker, and I'm a family history research student from Lethbridge, Alberta. I will be playing Dr. Mason, RT, TV announcer, and Sergeant Farley tonight.
Thank you. And Clint?
Hey, my name's Clint. I specialize in general mayhem, and I am going to play Brian today. And I look forward to seeing what Phil Hay has bringing to the table. I've seen that he's done a couple other things. So I'm really excited to see what this thing looks like.
Thank you. And Vicky?
Hi, I'm Vicky Deitz. I'm from Central Alberta, and tonight I will be reading June.
Thank you. And Roxanne?
Hi, my name is Roxanne Armstrong. I am also from Central Alberta here, and tonight I am reading Allison.
Thank you. And Morgan?
Hi, Morgan here. As always, excited to be here. I love reading new materials. This is going to be fun.
Thank you. Sorry, one moment here. All right, so we will get started right away with City Song. Everyone see that nicely? Yeah, okay. City Song by Phil Hay. Original story for TV pilot, 1 hour. Teaser, fade in, interior doctor's office day. Brian Gardner, 55, medium build, sits in examine room alone, anxious. Dr. Mason, 60, lab coat, files in hand, enters.
Hi, Brian. Good to see you today.
Do I want to hear this?
The first exam results are in. You have a serious issue.
Am I going to die soon?
I should have the other test results by the end of the week. Here are your current prescriptions. Take them as shown.
And?
Just go about your regular routines. Take your meds. I'll contact you once the full picture is known.
Interior Brian's apartment day. Steve Waters, 55, large frame, with Brian Gardner as they practice tunes. Brian strums guitar, stops. Oh, I like that version a lot.
Smoking Steve, old buddy. We'll go with that tomorrow. The fans will love it.
Yeah. Now let's nail down a Rush tune. I need sleep. Exterior Fatso's bar night. Steve and Brian exit the bar, take music equipment out of the cab.
Steve, my friend, how many more times do we have to empty my taxi of equipment?
How about the same number of times we load it, or else we'll quit till we quit or die?
Maybe we should hire a roadie.
How about no? Interior Fatso's bar night. Old style, smoky bar setting, full room. Room full, patrons mingle, dance. Brian plays guitar while Steve plays the flute. Narrative to camera. We are the duo, 2 fine men. Brian Gardner, city taxi driver by day and guitar player by night, and yours truly, Steve Waters, on the flute. 25 years together, and we still look forward to playing. Interior Fatso's bar night. Some patrons are drunk, as others dance, mingle. Waitstaff scurry about. Duo finishes the grand extended version instrumental of a popular rock tune. Thank you for coming, folks. We had fun. Hope you all enjoyed the show.
See you next time and good night.
Remember, we're here because you're here. Steve walks to a group of patrons, sits, drinks, talks. Brian takes down equipment, then goes to a table of patrons opposite side of the bar.
Hey, Brian, great night, buddy. Why doesn't Steve ever come over to our table?
Oh, I guess we just have different missions with our fans. Thank you all for coming.
Exterior Fatso's bar night. Both men load taxi. Bouncer escorts a drunk past the taxi, bumping Brian. Steve reacts, saves Brian from falling. Hey, careful, buddy. Watch it, will ya?
Some nights we aren't the only partner entertainment. Hey, partner. Some of the fans were asking about you never sitting with them after the show.
They got what they paid for. I'm not a damn politician, and I need to go home. Exterior PDH Studio Street Day. Steve exits office building, PDH Sound Studios, onto a busy city street. Crowded sidewalks, steam puffs out of the sidewalk grill. Steve carries a small black music case and backpack, narrative to camera. End of another week narrating films for the blind. Great gig. Helping others to enjoy life. Now the weekend routine, negotiating the bumps in the road here in the village. Exterior PDH Studio Street Day. Steve stops, buys a paper from Ted, 60, vendor. Drops coin and pile of newspaper. Only the good news, Ted? Where's Ted? Ted. If we don't have a Ted, someone jump in.
That's
all
all.
I ever sell, Steve. Have a good weekend.
Narrative to camera. I'll buy the evening paper every day from Ted. He's been on this corner in the village for over 50 years. Steve walks away. Car splashes through puddle. Water barely misses Steve. He reacts. Interior Fatso's bar day. Steve goes to the back seating area. Bruno, 60-ish, sloppy, overweight man, thick gold chain around his neck, sits with smoke in mouth, drinks on table. Steve sits. They talk. Narrative to camera. Meet Bruno. He owns Fatso's. He's one of those bumps in the road we have to deal with. The bar door opens. Brian walks to the back table, sits as they all talk.
And big birthday bash Friday night. 40 people plus regulars. You guys be sure to mention the birthday girl.
You want the $5 birthday tune or the very expensive classic rock version?
Nah, don't be a wise guy. I pay you to do what patrons want.
Hey, that would be a refreshing change. You still owe us $100 from last Friday.
Bruno stands, exits.
Okay, smart guy. You're fired. I'll get a real band to fill the bar. Get your sorry butts out of here. Now.
End teaser. Exterior Street Fatso's bar night. Steve paces. Brian's cab arrives in haste. Where the hell you been?
Last morning airport run. Hey, why are we here? We're fired.
Money. Who cares about our fans and the money? We will get even, believe me. Interior Fatso's bar night. Brian and Steve test the systems. Patrons file in, watch, mingle. Time passes. Birthday party guests enter carrying balloons, packages, flowers, etc. The stage is ready. Steve and Brian step up on stage. Steve picks up a long terry towel, wipes his face, takes the flute from stand. Brian picks up guitar, adjusts amp and microphone.
Test one. Hey, folks, seconds away.
Test 1, 2, test. You guys ready to rock? Duo plays the night away. Patrons dance, sing, drink. Bouncer ejects the drunk comic-like. Patrons drop money in half-filled tip jar on table at stage area. Okay, folks, we have a birthday girl here tonight. Valerie. Where is Valerie? As Valerie climbs on stage.
All together now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Steve leads into a rock version. Brian follows as song ends.
Happy birthday to you.
Night, folks.
One more song. One more song.
Thanks for coming. Remember, we're here because you're here. Steve and Brian break down the equipment, narrative to camera. Look at all those happy faces. They keep coming back and we keep playing. Symbiosis, you could say. Bruno hands Steve an envelope. Steve shows Brian as they react. Again? First you fire us, then insist we play, and now?
What is this crap? Again?
Bruno, you're 100 short. That makes 200 you owe us. Bruno exits, waves at two burly staffers. Bruno.
Can't be helped, boys. See you Wednesday. Pick it up then, boys. See the music men out.
Steve mimics Bruno. Pick it up then. Some things never change. Bruno hears Steve's comment, turns.
Come to think of it, mouthpiece, you're fired. Yes, again. Don't bother coming Friday. I'll get another, more understanding band. Now get lost.
Two thugs grab Brian and Steve and wrestle them to the street. They throw their equipment on the sidewalk and lock the door. Interior Brian's apartment kitchen night. Steve and Brian at kitchen table. Drinks, snacks. Steve pulls envelope from pocket, makes two piles. Just like Bruno, calling us ugly thugs.
Oh, what do we do for a gig? I mean, our fans, money?
I know how to handle his ass. Lots of bars in the village. At least our fans will be with us, not spending cash at Fatso's.
Maybe it's time we get an agent. I mean, after all.
Agent my ass. 15% off the top, and we get to run all over the territory, playing new bars miles away. No agent.
At least we get our money. I mean.
No agent. Case closed. Interior Fatso's bar day. Oscar, 35, casual dress, sits at a table with Bruno. Drinks very smoky. Bruno lets out a huge puff. Steve, Brian enter, walk to table at back. Wave away the smoke cloud.
Bruno, it's Wednesday. We'll take the money in cash.
What? Can't you say hello to me and Oscar? You gotta just yell out the money stuff, huh?
I don't remember you asking our families just before you stiffed us for our money, huh? Oscar stands. Oscar. Is there an Oscar?
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute, you two. Show some respect here.
Oscar, sit. Before I knock you into the frickin' chair. Oh, did I forget, please? Bruno reaches into his pocket, throws cash across the table. Oscar snickers.
Here you go, tough guy. You're paid. See? I did my part, just like I said I would.
Narrative to camera.
At this point, a crack in the head from a sharp right hand is what should have followed. But that won't change anything, so we just limp out like losers, lucky to have our money.
Brian and Steve stand to leave. Steve picks up cash, leans into Bruno.
And now that we are removed again as your Friday entertainment, we'll take our fans with us to a new location, not paying your rent.
Bruno snickers, looks at Oscar, continues conversation as Steve and Brian exit. Interior cab day. Brian's cab pulls up to the curb. Jason, black man, 35, gets in.
Ben yok ver, sir.
Brian turns to acknowledge fare.
Yes, sir. Sit back and relax.
Hey, I know you, man. Aren't you that guitar bro from Wee Willie's bar? You know the one with the flute guy?
Oh, you recognize me? Wow, good memory. Yeah, that was years ago.
I rocked the house, man. Why you not a big star?
How would you get to Bay in Yorkshire if I was a movie star?
Right now I see your point. 2 jobs, more satisfied customers. Who needs the star's life?
Cab arrives, passenger gets out, pays.
Where are you next? I bring my pals.
You can find our gig in the Village Weekly.
Jason exits. Brian's cell phone rings. He answers. Interior June Walker's apartment day. June Walker, 48, attractive, casual, no makeup, sips tea, talks into phone.
Brian, got a minute?
Just dropped a fare. What's up?
Well, Daddy just called. He and Mom can't go to the opera Friday night. So guess who has 2 tickets?
Honey, you know I'm busy.
We never get a night together anymore. Tell them you're sick.
June, call your brother or Martha. Yeah, Martha. She loves that stuff. It just ain't gonna be me. That's for sure.
Fine, man. Just as I thought.
June slams the phone down. Interior Brian's cab day. Brian reacts with a hand gesture, drives off with gusto.
Doesn't anyone understand my life? I mean, I may not be here for long.
Interior Steve's apartment day. Phone rings. Steve answers.
Hello?
You guys are here Friday, right?
Not likely.
Listen, big guy, we got an understanding. Hear me? You're live at 8. Here, no lip.
Bruno, in the words of a diplomat, have a nice day.
I paid your money and you'll be here Friday. Last word.
Exterior Fatso's bar night. The duo unload the cab of equipment.
Once again, we give into this ass.
Bruno is a thug, but we need the money, so here we are. He'll pay in time.
Steve and Brian play a hot tune. Patrons dance, very noisy as they move about. Bouncer drags a rowdy guest past the stage to the door. Allison Crane, 30, petite, pretty, hippie-style dress, carrying guitar case, passes stage, looks up to Steve and Brian, tears in eyes. Boys look down then at each other and song.
Good night, all. Thanks for coming.
See y'all next time.
Remember, we're here because you're here.
Crowd claps, shouts for more, narrative to camera.
This pretty lady is one of music's best artists. Her sad face tells the story long before the words begin. I fear the village music biz has taken yet another victim.
Brian leaves stage, approaches Allison, sits, looks, lifts Allison's head with a finger, narrative to camera.
She was playing tonight at the Hole in the Wall nightclub. This should be a salty tale.
What's up, girlfriend? You quit early tonight?
He kicked me off the stage.
What? You're the best solo female artist in this city, maybe North America. Why?
Artie says I was too sexy on stage, and that's what caused the fights.
They are a bunch of idiots over there.
Did I hear that correctly? That Artie has been a pompous ass since he bought the crummy joint?
Well, I don't give a damn about him or his bar. I do a great job. The creep refused to pay me for the show.
Start flashback. Interior hole in the wall bar night. Artie, 45, full head of hair, sports coat, walks onto stage. Interrupts song, pushes Allison away from mic, speaks into microphone as patrons scuffle in front of the stage. Bouncers take 2 men away, still swinging at each other. Artie looks at Allison.
Show's over, folks. Sorry. Drink up, everyone.
What?
Go home. Don't come back.
I didn't start the fight.
2 sexy girls swishing around all night like that. No wonder they were fighting. You're fired. Go home now.
Well, what about my pay?
Artie exits.
Forget it. Get lost.
Patrons boo, hiss at Artie. Artie leaves stage. Guy steps to Artie. Artie signals to bouncer.
Hey, buddy, you don't like it? Pay your tab and scram. Get this clown's money and now he's out of here.
Interior Fatso, end flashback. Interior Fatso's bar, night present.
I mean, 2 songs left in the night's work, and Zippo, nil. Not a cent.
We know the feeling. If we can do anything, just ask.
Nothing ever seems to make these guys treat us fairly.
Steve goes to table of fans, drinks, talks. Brian takes down equipment. Patron approaches Brian. Harold. Sorry,
Hey,
I've been trying to find who is who while I'm
It's
doing
hard to do. Harold is Abascar.
Okay.
Can somebody do it so I don't talk to myself?
Thought Aaron took over the what?
If he maybe he's not here. Aaron, did you want to take him again? Sorry.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian. Harold. We talked a few months back.
Yeah. You've been at several shows.
Yeah, just wondered why you and Steve are always at opposite ends of the bar after the show.
Brian looks awkward.
Well, I guess we just branch out to meet other fans, Say thanks.
Interior PDH sound studio day. Sound engineer Jerry, 35, behind glass paneled booth. Steve in sound studio, at microphone, headphones on, with stand holding script papers. Jerry's errand.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Oh, I miss that. I'm sorry. Steve, hold the last sentences till the light stops blinking. The time code will let me sync animation to your lines.
Roger, boss. You speak and I obey. No blinking mistakes from me.
Interior sound booth day. Phone rings beside engineer. He speaks into mic to Steve.
Steve, there's a Brian on the phone. Take it in here.
Steve walks to engineer's booth. Narrative to camera.
Now, Brian and I are very close. We talk a lot about many things, but I never call him when he's driving, and he never calls me here. Brian?
Oh, Steve, we need to meet now. I'll be outside in 5.
What's up, bro?
Steve listens for a few seconds, exits. Exterior hospital parking area day. Brian's taxi cab parks. Brian and Steve get out, hurry to emergency department doors. Interior hospital emergency room, exam room day. Steve and Brian enter the waiting room in haste. Approach receptionist, turn, enter exam room. Allison sits on a gurney, bandaged head, blood-stained knee wrap. Nurse Wilma, 33, stands at small table, turns.
Hey, girlfriend, what's this about?
I'm Wilma, her nurse. You know these men, dear?
Allison weeps.
Brian, I just asked for my pay. I earned it, for Christ's sake.
What the hell happened, nurse? Head trauma. Could have been worse. She should rest a week and report any dizziness or unusual reactions immediately. The leg will heal in time.
Nurse exits, pulls curtain closed. Brian examines the bruises.
Did you fall down?
Artie, that's what.
Artie hit you?
No. I went there to ask for my pay. My rent's due, and I would like to eat this week. He said he didn't owe me nothing, and to get lost.
Did he do this to you?
No, not directly.
Flashback starts. Interior hole in the wall bar, day. Allison stands at table with Artie, surrounded by thug types and sleazy young women. Allison turns, hands in air, exasperated, walks out the bar door. A man intentionally bumps Allison down the steps into a sidewalk. She hits her head on the wall, falls hard to the sidewalk, lies still for a second, gets up slowly. The man retreats down the street, doesn't look back. Allison limps to bench, dials phone. Flashback ends. Interior hospital emergency room, present day.
A man on the street called EMS.
I will kill that creep.
Man, that's so arty. Can I give you a ride home?
No, thanks. I called my roommate Todd. He's coming soon.
It's
Exterior
about time.
hospital parking day.
It's about time we artists refuse to play at these places till there are changes.
I keep saying it.
Interior Brian's apartment night. Steve and Brian with music equipment. TV is on. Brian strums guitar quietly. June preps some munchies in kitchen.
And finally, the owner of the Hole in the Wall nightclub was assaulted earlier today.
Buddy, listen to this.
Just after opening today, an unknown person roughed up owner RT Kalkakia. The police have yet to release any information. That's it for tonight.
I didn't know Allison could fight.
Allison? Your music friend?
The man has no shortage of enemies in this town.
What fight?
Good on Artie. Long overdue, I'd say. Dear, she was playing at never mind. It's a long story.
Will someone please tell me what happened?
I'll tell you the story later.
Ugh.
Interior Allison's apartment day. Allison sits in front of TV blanket over her. Face still bruised, hot coffee mug steams in her hands. Phone rings, she answers.
Hello?
Hey, you okay?
I'll survive.
Yeah, I just saw the news. Someone had an issue with your friend Artie.
Yeah, I saw it too. Funny thing is, Todd just brought me an envelope of cash from Artie.
Interior Brian's apartment day on phone.
Good news. But what's next for you?
Interior Allison's apartment day. Allison adjusts position on couch.
Not sure. Now I have to find a new gig. I can't go looking yet.
If you're up to it, you could join us for a few songs at Fatso's on Friday. No pay, but maybe the visibility will help. At least you will be among friends.
I thought he fired you. But thanks. You guys are the best.
Interior WRTS Studio Executive's Office Day. 3 executive types. Claude 45, Sally 35, Terry 40 at board table.
My friends, we have a short time to put together the best in music talent contest. Any progress, Sally?
Sir, we just sent out flyers announcing the contest and asking for contestants.
And Terry?
We've had a good response already and expect many more in the next weeks.
That leaves a venue. We need a popular downtown bar that will hold a big crowd. This year, I want all events in one place. That will simplify the process.
We have a few in mind, but one stands out. We are talking to the owners this week.
Interior Steve's apartment night. Steve and Brian arrive, carrying equipment.
There's something refreshing about playing at a wedding. Hell, we get paid up front, fed well, and the crowd loves us.
As always. Maybe we should become wedding singers.
I guess you missed the movie. Hey, it's past my bedtime.
Hey, what if one of us was unable to be here to play a gig? I mean,
You live in town? Yeah, I'm tired.
Just wondering. We'll talk tomorrow.
Wait, you got a doctor's appointment last week. That makes a few in the last months. Is something up?
Brian exits.
It's just routine stuff. That's all. Good night.
Interior Steve's apartment bedroom day. Steve wakes to phone, answers.
You got Steve.
Stevie, old buddy, sorry to call so early. It's Artie. Remember me?
Sadly, yes. What do you want?
Come on, buddy. Past is past. Today we forget and go on.
Give me one good reason why I don't come down there and smash your ugly face to a pulp.
Interior hole-in-the-wall bar day. Artie paces, cocky, arrogant stride, animated hand gestures. Usual gang nearby.
Whoa, bro, easy. We're friends now. For years now, right?
You are nobody's friend. I don't have time. Goodbye.
Wait. I got an offer you can't refuse.
Oh, stuff it, Artie.
Okay, smart guy. You want to hear more, I guarantee it.
I doubt that, Artie. Bye now.
Steve tosses the phone to the bed with disgust. Exits to bathroom. Exterior, the voice box, coffee, bar, patio, day. Busy patio off the main restaurant. Eclectic music types. Some with instruments open at tables. Waiters scurry around. Brian and Steve enter the patio, walk towards Allison and guests at the table, sit. Narrative to camera.
This is the voice box, the village hangout for us musicians. From students and wannabes to some of the finest pros in the world. We all feel safe here among our own breed. We speak our language, leave notices on the board inside, exchange stories, and we are family.
Ronnie, 30, Jennifer, 30, at table, speak to Steve, Brian as they walk past. Allison and Todd, 35, sit at nearby table.
Hey, Steve. Good to see you. Brian, what's up, man?
Mr. Oliver, how's that trumpet of yours?
Aaron.
Oh, he's been practicing so he can join you one night at the club.
Steve, Brian, sit with Allison and Todd.
Yeah, sure, Ronnie. Let me know when you have it down to a science. That'll be the day the moon crashes to Earth.
Steve, Brian, you remember Todd?
Yeah, for sure. Hey, good to see you.
Same here. Been a while. I don't get out much. Graveyard shift at work.
I have great news, guys. I got a gig at Pandora's Lounge.
Steve shakes hand in air. Brian reacts.
Oh, yeah, very upscale, my dear.
I got referred by an old friend who saw me at Inferno's. They loved me and booked me on the spot for next Saturday.
Sorry, we can't come.
Are we playing that night?
No, but we haven't got any clothes to get in. I mean, I don't own a house to mortgage for the cost of the dinner.
This is a big deal, little lady. Lots of who's who in that place.
Food arrives. The four focus on a figure walking, talking from the inside bar onto the patio. They all wince as Artie walks among the tables, hands up flyers.
What the hell is he doing here?
There goes the neighborhood.
I don't want him to see me.
I'll kill him.
Settle.
Interior, exterior, the voice box, coffee bar, patio, day. Artie moves the patio seating area. Sports black eye. Stops, speaks.
Okay, folks, here is the music contest info. Get your entries in soon. Read carefully. Auditions announced this Saturday. We are limited to 40 acts. That's it. Practice, my little wannabes.
Narrative to camera.
This is where a guy like Artie should be thankful that my dad brought me up, not to get physical as a way to cleanse the earth.
Exterior coffee bar, patio. Artie works his way to the table, makes eye contact with the group, focuses on Allison, then Todd, then Brian and Steve.
Well, look who's here. Allison, my dear. Sorry for the misunderstanding. All is okay now, right? Yes, of course it is. Brian, sir, Stevie, good to see you both, as always.
Don't tell me.
Artie puts the sheets on table.
That's right, my friends. The music contest will be held at the Hole in the Wall this year.
Allison presses Todd back into his chair as he tries to rise, leers at Artie.
Thanks. We'll do that. No problem.
Artie looks at Todd, steps back, expecting another attack. Todd glares at Artie.
Great. Then we will see you there. And boys, don't be late. I'm sure the world is looking forward to your talents. In fact, why don't you give me a call, Stevie? I'll set up a night for you to play. It's been too long, boys, really.
Don't stay up waiting for the call.
My, you do hold a grudge. Stevie, old boy, call me anyway. We'll talk. Bye now.
Narrative to camera.
So much for our safe haven. A doorman
that's me.
with a list of unwanted names.
So
and
much.
faces.
Sorry, that's me. So much for our safe haven. A doorman with a list of unwanted names and faces would be a good idea.
The patrons read flyers and react to the information. Artie struts out arrogantly. Interior June Walker's apartment. Night. June in kitchen makes dinner. Brian strums guitar, sings, hums tunes at table. Interior kitchen.
Dear, you really missed a great opera on Friday. The whole New York cast made a surprise appearance.
Brian strums, looking over music sheet. No reaction. Interior living room. June joins Brian.
It's nice, I think.
There you go. Never interested in my likes. Just music, music, music.
Yeah, no arguments for me on that one.
But I always come to see you guys when I can. Can't you at least do something I like? I mean, just once, maybe?
I went to your mother's for dinner last month. I figured that was good for at least, I don't know, half a year.
You never liked my mom. Well, she's a really good person.
Your mom is a pain in the butt, and her conversations about the church drive me to drink. I need a beer. I'll get it.
I'll get you one.
June exits to kitchen. Brian grabs his side, winces in pain as he slumps to table, continues to rub his side. June enters with beer.
Brian, what happened?
Nothing. It's a muscle cramp.
Brian tries to recover with brave face.
Oh, Allison called. She needs to borrow something from you for her show. Call her back.
Brian struggles to sit up.
When is dinner? I'm starved.
Did you hear me?
Yes. Call Allison about the equipment. I'll get us some dinner.
Oh, sit. I'll get it.
June takes plates to table, sits, eats with Brian.
You okay? Are you coming back here tonight, dear?
Brian trying to recover and eat.
No. I'll drive till morning, then just go home.
June, composed, reaches to touch his hand.
Mornings are just as good as nights. What do you say? Snooky?
I'm too tired.
Narrative to camera.
Now, these two have dated since high school. They tried living together. That failed. They tried dating others. That failed. Now they're back together on a part-time arrangement. When the urge hits, you know.
Interior Allison's apartment front lobby day. Brian enters, picks up house phone, dials. The door releases buzzer sounds. He carries large amp to elevator. Interior Allison's apartment hallway day. Allison opens the door, looks down the hall. Brian approaches, enters, hugs Allison. Brian holds side with one hand, grimaces, smiles.
Here it is, my dear. Finest equipment in town.
Thanks. Want a coffee?
Exterior city street day. Brian leaves Allison's apartment building, stops, looks up, adjusts his clothes, walks to cab at curb, drives off. Interior Pandora's room night. Busy ballroom, dinner, guests, finished dessert, coffee. Waiters rush to clear dishes. Announcer steps onto stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, while dinner is cleared, you are all invited to the lakeside room for cocktails. Tonight's entertainment features lovely and talented Allison Crane.
Interior Pandora's lakeside room night. The patrons enter, mingle at the small bar, drinks served. Interior Pandora's room night. The stage curtains open to reveal Allison on stool with guitar at mic. Small combo of bass guitar and drums in back.
Hi, I'm Allison Crane. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. If you have a request, please let me know. Enjoy your evening with us.
Interior Pandora's Room audience section night. Allison starts to play as the crowd slowly gets up to dance and mingle. Very handsome gentleman, Everton Masters, who is Abascar, 40 years, very well dressed, seated at front table with guests, looks at Allison intently. Allison takes a break. Crowd claps.
Thanks. I'll be back soon, so don't go away.
Interior Allison's dressing room night. Allison sits alone, looks in the mirror, fixes her hair, makeup. Knock on door.
Who is it?
Thomas.
Ma'am,
Aaron.
ma'am, it's Thomas, the valet. There is a gentleman that wishes to talk to you.
1 second, please.
Allison opens the door, reveals Everton Thomas.
Miss Crane, this is Mr. Masters. He is a good friend of Pandora's.
Everton, Miss Crane.
Allison. Please call me Allison.
Oh, may I come in? I would like to talk to you about your music. Strictly business, I saw you.
That will be all, Thomas. Yes, please come in.
Interior Pandora's Room night. Everton walks out to the main area in front of the stage, passes Brian, Steve, and June as they enter and sit at table. Allison on stage in new costume eyes Steve. Brian and June seated near stage.
Before I get started, please give a hand to these two amazing local artists, Mr. Steve Waters and Mr. Brian Gardner. You can find them playing in the village.
Brian and Steve slowly stand, smile. Time passes. Allison wows the guests with songs as patrons dance and move about. Ends final song, speaks, then exits stage to wild applause.
Good night, folks. Thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed the evening. I know I did. Till we meet again.
Interior Pandora's Room night. Allison rushes to meet Brian, Steve, and June. Jumps in the air, excited.
You guys will never guess what happened tonight.
Everton makes his way to Allison as crowd exits.
Allison, I thought I might miss you.
Everton, these are my dear friends, Steve and Brian's friend, June.
Nice to meet you.
Same here, sir.
Everton, will do.
Everton is my good news. Can I tell them?
Everton takes over the conversation.
I must say you have a very talented young friend here. I own Masters Recording Studios in LA.
I've heard of your company. What brings you to this fine city so far away?
We were asked to provide engineering support to the best in music contest. I fly out tomorrow, but I have offered this talented young lady the opportunity to send me some demos for consideration by my company.
Kaboom! Allison, congratulations, girlfriend.
Oh, Allison, how wonderful.
I knew it would work out.
Maybe these two talented guys could send you some demos also. They are the best in the city.
Everton politely smiles, takes Allison by the arm, walks, looks back at Steve, Brian.
Yes, of course. I'll see if we have something for you. Now, my dear, be sure you send everything directly to me, just as I said.
Narrative to camera.
Wow, our talented little buddy got noticed. I knew this would be the place to kickstart her career. Maybe there really is a music god out there somewhere. We wish her luck and hope his interest is in her music and not, well, you know what I mean.
Interior Steve's apartment day. Steve sits at a small desk, picks up ringing phone, looks at dial to see number, size.
What do you want now, Janet?
Steve quickly removes phone from ear, holds it at arm's length. Loud yelling, not clear from Steve's phone as Steve talks back in loud voice.
You know I can't do that. I've told you 1,000 times. Ugh, don't call me. Call someone who cares.
Slams the phone down. Interior Brian's apartment night. Steve and Brian are rehearsing tunes. Stop for a break.
I dropped off our demos at the contest committee this morning. I mean, we should hear soon.
Speaking of hearing from people,
Who's that?
a voice from the past? No, a poisonous sting that just keeps flaring up.
No. Janet?
Yeah, she just got out of rehab, wants me to consider a reuniting of the old us.
What's this one? Number 5? How many times is she going to go to rehab? She's got an issue with booze, and that's that.
And I got an issue with vodka-soaked women that has no reality or grip on life. She's getting a lawyer to open up our settlement if I don't go back to her.
That is blackmail.
No, it's a choice between always fighting her in court or fighting her in a relationship.
Man, that's no choice.
Steve shrugs. They continue the practice session, narrative to camera.
Janet and I were married for 14 years. One daughter, Jessica, 30, lovely girl, lives 2 hours away with her boyfriend. I don't see her much. As for our marriage, she drank herself to sleep every night for the last several years.
Interior Brian's apartment night. Duo stop playing a song.
That's a take. I like that version better.
Now I'm back in court. A waste of frickin' time.
Sorry.
That woman nearly broke us up once. We're too close to getting somewhere now.
Don't worry, I'll take care of her. No problem with us, okay?
Okay. Don't see how you will shake her off, but I'm chilling, bro.
Interior PDH studio day. Steve in the booth. Voices a script. Engineer Tony 25 in control room adjusts buttons. Thumbs up. Steve gathers papers at door in center area. Flies open. As door in center area flies open. Janet 50 wobbles on semi-high heels. Drunk. Slurs words. Goes to the engineer's window. Pounds on glass. Steve sees her. Ducks below the window level in sound booth.
Where is he?
Ooh, ma'am.
You know who I mean.
No, ma'am. Can I help you?
Steve, that's who.
We are in a live session, ma'am. Please wait outside.
You get that loser here, and now you hear me?
Tony reaches for phone.
Please wait outside or I'll call security.
Security guards rush in and take Janet by the arms. Janet struggles but is too drunk to fight. Steve looks up through the glass as the guards exit with Janet. Janet looks back, sees Steve.
Ah, there you are, you wimp. Hiding over there. Let me go. I need to talk to him.
Guards exit with Janet. She screams wildly.
Steve, not again. I thought we were through with.
Sorry, man. I had no idea she'd show up here after all this time.
Keep her out of here. The boss will get a trespass order if she comes back.
Yes, okay. Sorry, I'll see to it. Promise. No problems, really.
Exterior PDH Sound Studios sidewalk day. Exterior is Janet is handcuffed, loaded into a police cruiser, still struggling and yelling as people stop. Watch in surprise. Narrative to camera.
I truly feel sorry for Janet. Really, I do. Her addiction is out of control. It's too bad, but sometimes life just sucks and no one can fix it.
Interior Lebowitz Law Office Day. Jack Lebowitz, 45, well-dressed, talks with Steve.
I'll lose my job, Jack.
I'll prepare a restraining order for the court to consider. Her history with the courts should be enough to get it signed.
And if not, I can't live with this derelict hanging over my head.
Just wait to see what the court says. It won't take long.
I may take care of things myself if this doesn't work.
Be patient. Don't do anything that will compromise your position.
Yeah, No action is what got me here after all these years, and nothing is what I got to show for it.
Exterior, the voice box, coffee, bar, patio day. Steve and Brian, beer and munchies, at their usual table on the patio.
I like the new demo for the contest, and hey, good work on the techie mix, man.
I like this new recording unit, digital. It's so much faster and better quality. Just another bank loan.
Allison enters.
Can I join you two handsome brutes?
Oh, excuse me, ma'am. Do we know you?
No, but I'm that very talented artist that just got an invite to do a live demo tape for Masters Recording Studios, possibly in LA.
Well, then you qualify, young lady. Please have a seat.
Allison, really? When will you know for sure?
Soon, I hope. I'm so excited. I have to do 2 covers and 2 original songs and send them down. They loved my first demo.
Yo, ho, Merry Christmas in May, I mean. Well done.
What about you two? Anything new?
Nothing exciting. Well, Steve heard back from Janet this week. Not good. She's back on the bottle. Worse than ever.
Hey, do we still have to spoil Allison's moment with that garbage news break?
Oh, sorry to hear that, Steve. I hope she doesn't try to come back into your life again.
Yeah, too late. She started a court challenge, then showed up at the studio drunk and crazy. It took security to get her out.
Yikes.
Brian stops waiter.
Just a bill. Thanks.
Interior, Steve's apartment day. Steve gets ready for gig, arranges music sheets, amps, flute, box, etc. Phone rings. Interior police station day. Sergeant Farley, 35, sits at the desk, talks on phone.
Mr. Waters, please.
Interior, Steve's apartment day. Listens on phone.
You got him.
Sir, Sergeant Farley calling from the 21st Precinct. We have a lady here that was taken from PDH Studios. Her name is Mrs. Janet.
Waters, right? Yes. Unfortunately, I do know her. Why?
She arrived here drunk yesterday and we held her overnight. She claims you are her husband and would be here to pick her up.
We are divorced 10 years now. I have a settlement of divorce, and it doesn't say anywhere that I'm responsible for her sorry ass.
We are reluctant to let her go without a chaperone.
Sergeant, with all due respect, I'm busy. And even if I had a lifetime and nothing to do, I wouldn't be there to pick her up. Find a home or rehab or hospital and just admit her. That's what she needs. Help, not me.
I have no authority to put her anywhere, just following up on options before I release her.
You got your job and I got my life. Difference is, now you can deal with her. I'm through with that woman and her games. Checkmate. I win.
I get your drift, sir. Sorry to bother you. Thank you. Good day.
Interior, Allison's apartment day. The phone rings several times. Allison bursts out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel, drips water, dives for the phone.
Hello? Hello?
Phone is dead. She hangs up, turns back to bathroom. Phone rings again. She dives on the couch, grabs the phone.
Hello? I'm here.
Interior, Everton's LA office day. Everton sits a large desk, posters on wall, stacks of albums, papers, etc.
Allison, my dear.
I was in the shower. I'm so sorry.
No problem. I got your demo tape, ran it by my senior producer, and you have won a ticket to see me in LA next Thursday. You okay with that?
Los Angeles, California?
It's not that exciting, please. Can you make it? I have arranged for a trial recording session with my people.
Well, I mean, yes, I think.
Settle down. The tickets are in your email box. Just print out the form and go to the airport and check in. My driver will meet you in the alley and take you to the hotel. I will see you the next morning at the studio.
Yes, I can make it for sure. Thanks for the opportunity. Really.
Okay, so you'll be my guest for the next week. Be ready to work hard and impress my team. You'll be fine, I'm sure.
Exterior, the voice box, coffee bar, patio day. Allison approaches Steve at table, sits in loud voice.
You won't believe what's happening. It's so cool.
Hey, easy, girl. My eardrums can only take so much this week.
LA, that's what.
You got the master's gig?
All expenses paid. I audition for a week.
A musical or personal audition?
Oh, come on, Steve. This is my big break.
Hey, I wish you well, my dear. Be careful. Be careful it doesn't come with strings.
You guys are my family. I'll miss you and Brian. Oh, I want this so bad. And I am sure he's only interested in my talents.
Yeah, sure. Me too. Break a leg.
Narrative to camera.
Here in the village, we all know the score. But when it comes to the big time, we can lose control. We're all happy for Allison while we remain in the village and deal with our real lives and the bars. There are 1,000 stories in the village, and we have many of our own to tell.
Interior, Brian's cab day. Brian parked on phone.
Tomorrow morning, 9:15. Thanks, Doc. See you then.
Interior, doctor's office day. Brian enters exam room. Dr. Mason follows with files in hand. Fade to black. Banner to be continued. And there we are.
The end.
Thank you,
All right.
guys. So we're going to do an introduction, a bigger introduction of ourselves now, and then we'll have a 5-minute intermission and we'll come back to discuss. And after discussion, we'll bring Phil Hay in. So first off, Erin Lillis.
Thank you. I am Erin Lillis. You can find me on Twitter at Ravie13, that's RAVIE13, or on TikTok at Scarin B Lillis, that's SCARIN B LILLIS. There you go. I am a voice actor and I am for hire.
Thank you.
Continue.
And Ari, sorry.
Hi, I'm Ari. I am a voice actor. You can find me on Instagram as Williamson Aaron or on Facebook as Ari Williamson. Yeah, I'm also a voice actor for hire, and yeah, there's nothing major going on for me at the moment besides looking at other auditions at this point in time.
Thank you. And Heather.
Hello, my name is Heather Lee Cameron. I'm an actor, I'm a voice actor, I'm a writer, I'm an independent filmmaker, and I'm a family history research student. I live in Lethbridge, Alberta. You can find my work pages on Heather Lee Freelancer on Facebook and The Storm and Latter-day Saint on YouTube. I'm on Facebook under Heather Lee Cameron, Twitter under Chameleon7777771. Instagram, Heather Lee Cameron. I'm on Actors Access, all that. I'm certainly up for work. As you can probably tell by this, I can do accents if I really put my mind to it. I'm looking for work, so please email me at heather.lee.cameron@gmail.com. And we can have a conversation. I've got experience in acting, I've got experience in writing, and I can show you lots of my work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Clint.
Hey, my name's Clint. I tell stories that rock the world. That's about it. Talk to you.
Thanks. And they can reach you nowhere.
Nowhere. You can reach me on the silver screen.
Cool. And Vicky.
Hi, I'm Vicki Dykes. I'm an actress. You can find me on Facebook under my name, Vicki Dykes. And I'm on Instagram. I'm Yoga Grandma 7.
And Roxanne.
I'm Roxanne Armstrong. I am an actor here in Central Alberta. I Have been away from the acting scene for a little while and just stretching a few little muscles here and there. I can be found on Facebook on Roxane Armstrong or on Instagram as Rock Zany. And that's it. That's me.
Thank you. And Morgan?
Hello. I am a Los Angeles SAG-AFTRA voice actor and actor. Also the talent partnership executive for Streamily.com. If you haven't checked out Streamily, check it out. It's pretty awesome. You can find me on Instagram at Morgan Elizabeth Dole. I am also a acting coach. One of my students actually was just in the winning film of the Sundance Film Festival.
Cool. That's awesome. And Abiskar?
Hey, it's Abhiskar. Not much big titles. I'm a high school junior. Just learning, practicing. I have a diary. I write things sometimes. And you can reach me on Instagram by name being underscore Abhiskar, BEING being underscore ABISKR, or from in my Facebook, Abhiskar Nobody. So
Thank you.
that was it.
Thank you. And I'm Angel and can be found here. So if you wanted to take a 5-minute break and come back here in about 5 minutes. So,
Angel, I'll take a
Um,
drink. Can you
quarter
make a
after.
Manhattan for me, please?
Yeah.
pardon me,
Can you make actually I'll do an old fashioned.
make a drink. That looks like the funnest drink to make.
Yeah.
Squeeze the orange and like
Yeah.
fire with, yeah. Anything with fire sounds like it's fun to make.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah,
See you
if
later.
you have to go, we will see you next time, and goodbye and welcome. And if you can stay, then we'll see you in 5 minutes. See you soon, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going, everybody?
Hello.
Welcome back, everybody.
Thank you for welcoming me back.
You're welcome for accepting my welcoming of the welcoming you back.
Well, thank you for welcoming back of the welcoming.
You're welcome for the welcoming of the welcoming.
You guys are so nice, so welcoming.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to confuse each other right now.
Exactly. This is the kind of environment that we foster here at Table Read Tuesdays.
Confusion and chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
So, was my Russian accent? That's what I was trying to go for.
It
too
was
much?
It was so good.
Perfect.
It was fun.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from. I just felt like doing like a Russian gangster type person for Artie. So
It was great. Yeah.
Felt like how it was written.
Yeah, it could have. I was thinking, oh, was that written in there? I don't remember that.
no,
but
I just felt inspired to go
Oh,
with
that's
that,
good.
and it just came out of my
it
mouth.
worked. Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, the rules in the hours were
What art? What Abiskar?
no, the rules in the hour were perfect when you were doing that accent.
Oh, thank you. My mom says I sometimes slip into a British or European accent without even trying sometimes. And she has to scream at me to use a more Canadian voice sometimes.
Use a more Canadian voice.
I heard there's a
Throw in a
Star
few
Trek
ways.
musical coming out that's a one-woman show with
Oh,
Heather.
jeez.
Oh,
She plays
well,
all the characters.
Han, why have you forsaken me?
well, I've
Han!
made I've made fan videos with my tribbles, but I don't think that's the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So first I want to, excuse me, after I cough, I wanted to apologize. We had quite a few people who had to drop out of this one last minute, got sick or ended up having other things they had to go to. So there was a bit of a shuffle with who was playing what role. And I don't think I even let some people know what roles they were playing. Yay, me. So, but I thank everyone for jumping in and fixing where those holes were. So appreciate that. So thoughts, anyone have any initial thoughts they want to share about?
I think this was more of a beginning of a series, not a movie, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the pilot episode, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have lots of notes, but I'd like to know from the writer what his experience in the village is, because I don't have it, so I can't point out what feels weird without knowing if it feels weird.
Okay, yeah, yeah, and we're going to be bringing him in after our first initial discussion, and then we can ask him any questions that come up too.
So what time period was this in, do we think?
It seems
current.
Yeah.
current, yeah. Although I feel like 80s, it could be in the 80s too, but I mean that's
Well,
pretty much
from voice some of the stuff read, I was picking up maybe like kind of early 2000s because it sounded like there was like landlines and cell phones.
Yeah, like it wasn't developed, but it was there.
Hmm.
It felt like that.
Yeah, but they could have been cell phones from the 1920s. Like the original cell phones.
Maybe.
Like a
Yes, the
rotary
original
cell phone, you
1920
know?
iPhone.
dinosaur ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, one second, I gotta call my friend.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
there was mention of the infamous casting couch, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, but that seems to be everything. I was noticing and that the POV, the talking direct to camera, the breaking the fourth wall thing,
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like those segments actually should have been action description. Because
Well, no,
it felt like the POV of this show, almost to me, it seemed like it was following Brian, but Steve was doing the breaking the fourth wall
In the narrative.
talking.
Or
So
narrative.
that was a
I
disconnect for me.
personally never seen in a script narrative to camera. I don't think that's a thing.
Actually, some shows actually have done it. I think it was Malcolm in the Middle and other shows like it who have
Oh,
done
sure,
it.
breaking the
No,
fourth
I
wall, but I
mean,
think she
in
means
the
the
script
phrase.
written as narrative to camera. So when you write a character speaking to camera, you would put that in action description saying the character looks to the
Oh,
camera.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after reading all the other scripts, and I think somebody mentioned it, well, I think it was Jacob that mentioned that in his little video that he realized that the produced scripts have a lot of content in their action description. So it was more noticeable in this one where it was more sparse and it felt like bullet points, which originally is how I thought scripts were supposed to be written. But now that we're rereading all the produced ones, I realize that there's actually a lot more chunkiness in there. And that's what I
Yeah.
wanted to see in this one.
Yeah, I agree with that. It makes it kind of stifled to read it. It's harder to read instead of having it flow. It didn't feel like real full sentences. It was just, like you say, bullet points is what it felt like. And sometimes the meaning was lost as well with that, with some of it. So
My
Yeah,
advice would be to have the writer look for scripts that are similar to what he's going for and see how they are written, just to get kind of the flow and how TV scripts are written, because TV scripts are also supposed to be written in acts. So just things to look at.
yeah, like as far as I know, because I did, like when I used to write TV scripts, because I taught myself how to do this by researching it on Google. There's supposed to be a teaser in 5 acts.
Not always, but
Sometimes.
definitely 3 acts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed
yeah,
that.
and yeah, it was definitely written more like a stage play than a screenplay. And Phil, we did read a couple weeks ago, or was it last week? Breaking Bad. And one of the things that he did really well in that script is how descript the visuals are that you see. And I've done this plenty of times in my own writing where like I just want to get it out, like I just need to get the scene out. And it's like they're in a bar, what does the bar look like? How many people are in the bar? Is it an upscale bar? Is it a sports bar? Like how descript can you make it? Is there a jukebox in there? What's it playing? Like some of the times in the script, it was like they rock out, and you'll see in professional scripts, like it's like this is the song that they're playing, and it's very, very descript. This is exactly what it looks like. And so you're just, I think, beefing up the action descriptions. What do these characters look like? What does Jennifer look like? What does 50s? There's a million people that are in their 50s, like heavy set. Does he smoke? Does he have a raspy voice? Is he coughing? Bring us into the scene so we can actually really see what it's like. What does the bar look like that they're playing at? Is it like alcohol soaked with heavy smoke? Is it built out of brick, or is it like, I don't know, Chuck E. Cheese's, are they like, does it look like an old jazz lounge? Does it look like a nice upscale restaurant, wine bar, stuff like that? So that's in the action descriptions. And then one of the things that I noticed, I'm super grateful for Phil to enter this into a contest read, because it's not something we get to see that often because we're reading scripts that have been developed. But one of the things that I noticed is in each scene, the dialogue is very rounded out, and the dialogue comes to a conclusion. There's always like response to what the character says, and it kind of ends the scene too much. It kind of like sucks out the tension of what's being said. Like there's a perfect response that comes back that it's almost like you could just get rid of that and keep a little bit of suspense in the scene. The example that I have, and like I said, I've only been through the script once. To give you professional notes, I'd like to do it a couple more times, but the scene when he's driving the Jamaican man, at the very end of it, it just seems like the Jamaican man just says something that just kind of puts a final act to the end of that. And it's like, you almost need to just cut out of that, leave that a little bit of suspense still in there.
Like the
So that's
get
one
in
thing.
late, leave early sort of thing.
Yeah. You want to I feel like a lot of times in this script, it's like you could leave a little bit earlier in the scene with the dialogue, and it'll just make it more punchy.
I do have some things.
Mm-hmm.
Like this initial scene, like when he's sitting in the doctor's office, even in preliminary results, you can pretty much tell what a serious illness is. If it's cancer, you can tell just by preliminary results. You should have a more drawn out discussion of what the illness is and come to understand why this Brian person acts the way he acts throughout the rest of the story. Because like even when my dad learned that he had cancer, they could tell pretty early on just by preliminary results. And we learned pretty darn quickly. There should be more of a discussion. There should be more solemnness, more emotion brought into that scene because it's a serious scene. This guy is being told, hey, I've got this possibly terminal illness. There's not enough emotion brought into this because I can tell you how that should be written because I've personally lived this kind of thing. I can personally really understand how a person being told, oh, you've got a serious possible terminal illness, I can understand how it must have felt. And I mean, this has no emotion to it. There needs to be more. And like, good to see you today. No, hi, Brian, how are you feeling? Should be the first question out of that doctor's mouth.
Yeah.
And like a serious issue, what is a serious issue? There needs to be a mention of it. Okay, you had some tests. This is what the preliminary results indicate. You should have something along those lines. Speak like a doctor. Don't speak like a pal. Speak like a doctor.
And along that same lines, the nurse too, later in the same scenes, like the nurse is giving these two random guys a little too much information. And why does she know? And there's some disconnects in general, like why did Allison call Brian and Steve? They seem to be just acquaintances. Why? It's interesting. I felt like this script was full of a lot of tropes. Like you've got the drunk ex-wife, you've got the I've got a terminal illness and I might not make it. I've got the big band contest that's coming up. I've got the sleazy bar guy. And in my head, I was changing it. So like, okay, if I'm reading it as a script that's supposed to be for human actors, it's a little too plain. It doesn't have enough interest. There's no stakes. I'm not invested in the characters. However, if I took this script and I made it a cartoon and made it like BoJack Horseman style, then I would want to see more tropes and more sleazy bar guy and just to like exaggerate the characters a little more. And then it could almost work as written if it was animated and you just like change the people to horses or something, because that's the style of the animation scripts right now. Another thing I noticed was the voice of the speakers. Like a lot of the speakers, the dialogue, they all sounded like they were the same person.
Yeah, I did get that as well.
And they all said things like dear, or I think Steve also said like, hey, buddy, my bro, my friend a lot. Like people don't actually speak like that.
Not unless they're just being, I don't know, awkward or silly. Or...
Yeah, like bro, what's up, you bro? We're like, hey, my
and
dear.
like
my dear,
the I mean, it was kind of interesting when you're reading it because you're like, what's this really going for? Because it goes towards Allison and then it kind of like turns back around, and the very end of the script kind of brought it to like what the theme of it really is, which is about the musicians that live in the village, and some people make it out and some people don't, right? And that's kind of like the location, right? Like Alan Sorkin was saying, like, what makes when do you know that your idea is a TV show, right? And he's like, it's about a place, right? And so that's the place, is music in the village. What it's it like? And it felt like, I mean, there could just be more, like a lot of the scenes I feel like could be cut down. And you just add more developments, more other musicians, the guy that's the flaky musician who's always lost. Maybe there's like the rival guys, and they're trying to fight over getting the same gig. Like that would add more tension, right? Maybe there's a guy who like it's like a guitar sax instead of a guitar flute, and like they fucking hate each other, or
trying to buy groceries on the limited budget you get on gigs, stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the
or
world
singing
of music,
for food.
It's definitely, I mean, super seedy in some instances, and yeah, I mean, it could be, I mean, you could have this guy that's like done it a bunch of times. You could have I like the is this girl getting used to go out to LA? Janet. There's needs to be like more drama.
I was just thinking, actually, instead of an upping the stakes, it seemed like the stakes were lowered and lowered. But if they were upped, then there would be more interest, and it would.
And it's like, what's going on with the doctor? I mean, that's like vague. Like, what does he have, really? You know what I mean?
You guys gave me a thought. There could even be a scene with like Steve or Brian and that girlfriend of his, that current girlfriend of his, like, what is the word when you play for money? What is it? Busking or something? They could be playing, and then there could be a symptom, and that requires them to stop and go home and rest or something like that. And they talk about, and then maybe he opens up, hey, I haven't been feeling well, I've been to the doctor, and they have a moment of vulnerability.
As far as Allison goes, I couldn't decide if she's this sweet girl or a sexy little trollop who's sleeping with everyone, because the character description is that she's a sweet girl, but the fight starts because she's too sexy. Pointedly says Brian adjusts his clothes when he leaves her place. Pointedly says Everton leaves the dressing room and she comes out in a different costume. So eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Oh, so did you also notice that like 3 people told her to like settle down and be quiet in like 2 pages?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was the same guy.
Everton told her to settle down twice, and then the next page, Steve was like, "Calm down, bring it down."
Yeah, Morgan brought this up in a previous read, right? Where it's everybody that works on this film is an artist, right? The writer is creating the whole story and telling the story. The actor is taking that person and bringing it to life. The set decorator is looking around at how to make this feel right. The director's feeling where the tension is and how to build it up. The sound guy is figuring out what music we can play, how the sound is going to make this scene either intense, lighthearted, jazzy feel, is it going to feel like a hustle thing? And there's just not much to really go on for a lot of the artists. It's like, this is a bar. And that works sometimes if you are the writer director, because you've got the vision in your head and you can say, but at the same time, you've got to communicate in some way to the other people that are going to be working on this project. Like, what does it actually really look like? What am I really going for? And so if you're not doing it in the action description, then it's going to be like in your, that's all going to be in pre-production. You're going to have to like go find shots. This is the type of bar I want. So you can show other people, right? Because the idea of film is that it's a collaborative method. Then you've got to take what's going on in your head and put it in other people's heads so that they can go do their thing as well,
And that's the hardest part about being a writer, is that we imagine all of these things in our head, and it's difficult. It's incredibly difficult to put that on page, what you are visually seeing so clearly in your head for everybody else to see it as well. It just takes super amount of practice, and also to find your voice as an artist, because as much as you can create a story, you're going to create your story the way that you would write it. It's not just a story, it's your story. So finding whatever it is that makes you a great writer and how you can tell that story and show your vision.
Mhm.
To me, it felt like it's still in the middle of development. I
Yeah.
had a few things come to my mind that it's half baked. There's loose ends. We're missing details, like Clint said. Not just with the brick walls, but also with the characters. So it left you kind of feeling a little confused, and I don't know, not really wanting more, feeling unsatisfied. So that's where it feels like it's still being developed.
Yeah, I would say it
Premises
feels like
are good. Let's just get it there.
it feels like a draft 3 and it needs maybe 2 more, because I think it needs to pick a direction. Like right now, like all the puzzle pieces are on the page, and now you have to put them together and make the story. Like there's not quite anything in it right now that makes me want to watch episode 2. So I would have to figure out what that is that really catches us. And if it's the relationships between the 3 people, one thing I might suggest is changing the ages, like actually making the men older and making the Allison younger. And then you could get that vibe like Only Murders in the Building with Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena, because then you'd have the young pop star. So that's the selling point for the show. Maybe you get a young girl that maybe you actually incorporate music into the show. It becomes more of a musical show. And then you would get that vibe, because I think it was kind of there. Like they mentioned that the boys are in their 50s, the girl's in her 30s, and one of the boys also has a daughter that's in her 30s. So there is kind of this father-daughter vibe that could be there. And if you make the girl younger, it also makes it more believable that she'd be scouted for an LA contract, because at 30, I feel like your time has already passed for that route. It also seems silly for the guys, to me, for the guys to be trying to get into a band contest and putting out demos. And like there's that one line where the guy was like, digital's so much better. Like digital's been out for a while now. Is he really just getting into it? Like he could be a fun grandpa type that like doesn't understand it, and then that would be comedy. Or if it's present tense, it doesn't make sense there. So I feel like pushing the ages either farther apart could be cool, or even bringing them closer together and then creating more of a romantic tension. Or is Allison going to take over for Brian if he dies, kind of thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's some character relationships that are just not very well defined, even between Brian and Steve, who are very close. And he says quite often that they're very close, but then has the weird thing where Steve won't sit with Brian, and that's not really ever dealt with. Like, is there conflict there? Is there not conflict?
Yeah, good
he
point.
did bring that up like 2 or 3 times and it didn't get resolved.
And it honestly felt like Janet shouldn't have been in this first episode. She's someone for the second or third episode. It just didn't feel like she should have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I feel like Janet should show up in a way that's like more intense, because I don't believe that she was at the recording studio, or that Steve was at the recording studio. Like she should show up when they're doing something important, and she should wreck it all, if that's how you want to go, like to raise the stakes, but yeah, I totally agree, with what, just figuring out like what the dynamics are, like they were saying earlier with Allison. Like, I mean, what is her deal? Is she like too sexy? Is she hot and dumb and is getting this? Is she actually like super talented? Is she like Amy Winehouse, where she's both and like actually has the potential to really blow up, you know. What really is that dynamic, you know? The June and Brian thing, again, that's something that you could develop more, because that one definitely felt like, as we were reading it with not much context, it definitely felt like she knows what's going on with him, because he pretty much treats her like shit and she's very overly sympathetic, which the only way that would happen in real life is if she knows that he's on his way out, right? Or that she's like very, very, very needy, which again, that's adding more complexity to the character that I don't think we really got on that read. And then it's like, what kind of genre is this? I mean, is it comedy? Is it a drama? Like where are you trying to go here with it? And again, a lot of that I think can be, huh?
Oh, I was going to say, should we bring in the writer and start asking him some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Although, Heather, did you have something to say? It looked like you were wanting to say something. No, you're good. Okay. And Ari, did you have anything to say before we?
I'm good.
You good? Okay. All right. We will bring him in. Hopefully he's there. And it's joining. I don't know if it's, I can maybe text him too, just to make sure.
I will say, I just want to say thank you very much, Phil, for putting your art out there and letting us look at it, because it's such a learning experience to see, you know, these two things. I know that we're all, you know, giving you feedback and whatnot, you know, it's not like we're Quentin Tarantino or anything, but it does help to see like, oh, you know, here's some things that, you know, people are doing that are getting, you know, $20 million a script, you know, and, you know, it just really opens your eyes to a lot of different things and all the inner workings and mechanics that go on. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this.
Yeah, here he is. Hello, Phil. Welcome.
Hello.
Thanks for letting us workshop this with you.
Yeah.
It's learning for all of us.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, you got a voiceover going on here.
What's
from
that?
earlier.
Oh, you have a delay on your side?
Oh, a delay. Oh, there is a bit of a delay with the with YouTube. I noticed that. Yeah. So if you still have YouTube on, you might want to close that down, Phil, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Something was doubled up.
Okay, it sounds good here. So if, yeah, it probably is that if you've got YouTube opened up, there's a bit of a delay there. So. All right, so some of us had some questions for you, and if you have some questions for us, you're welcome to ask as well.
No, I listened to all the comments.
Okay, yeah. So maybe the first one is what genre did you want this in and theme that you have for it?
Yep, there's it was written as a light drama.
Okay.
Both Brian and Steve. Hold on, there's a hold on one second.
Sure. Yeah.
If you lose me, I'll come back. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, that says leave meeting. I got two screens going here.
Oh, that could be why. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna do this.
Okay. So he'll be back. I'll watch for him and yeah.
Out of curiosity, has anyone else here had their scripts table read in workshop?
Angelina
did.
Yeah, I did, Jacob. We also had another gentleman who used to read with us frequently. And And he had his read with us, Don Lampasone.
Speaking of which, what happened to that gentleman?
I know, I miss him. He's just been really busy. But yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be nice to have him
I
back.
hope to get one done by the time we have another chance in June.
Yes.
Hope to.
You've got your deadline. I think it's in June or July.
Yes.
I can't remember now. You probably know better than I do right now.
I hope to get one done.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's you and Petra are in the running. So there's the race. Get on to get to the end. I don't know if anyone else has a script that they're working on that they want to be.
Yeah, whatever I'm creating is still in the ground.
A what now?
I said, whatever it is I'm trying to create is still in the ground. The world, the characters, the settings.
Yeah. Most of the stuff that I have is, for bigger projects. I have a couple that, could just be read. But, it's either things that I'm working on in the long term or they're other people's projects that I've been helping.
I have two that I just have to see which one I'm in the mood to finish first.
You can always send some over if you want, if you haven't decided which one.
I have
for
one
feedback.
that could probably offend everybody
Cool.
reading and everybody on the internet. I don't know if I'm open to having that one read.
You can
It's
remove
funny
me.
though. It's super funny, man.
You can remove me from that equation because I don't offend that easily.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. It's dangerously funny, I'll tell you what.
Oh, that would be good.
Well, mine aren't offensive. They're just very deep emotionally.
All right.
But you would enjoy reading them, I think.
Okay.
This group would do a good job.
I'm trying to create some kind of modern day sci-fi / fantasy, I think is what I'm going for.
Is he coming back?
Yeah, I think he's just having some troubles. He asked if I can attach him, but I can't add somebody that I just have to have him click the link. So you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna go off for a bit.
I'll tell you what I was thinking of when he was reading the script. I was thinking of the first episode of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. There's the intro scenes where they're like going to the clubs at night and trying to get on the list for being there later. So that was the club aspect.
That's badass. Because that's what they say, like 101 when you're writing a script, like go find the father and mother of this movie, The Matriarch and Patriarch. But no, that's an awesome recommendation because it's that hustling lifestyle. Some people make it, some people not. Obviously that's about her. And then everything else, but yeah, it's very much a going to those clubs, seeing what those clubs are like, the competition between those clubs and the different musicians. Then you get the people that are like over the top that think they're badass and they just are awful. And then you got the people who are like underrated, who don't even really know how good they are and they're fucking insane, right? And then there's like the rivalry, the hustling, trying to get in, making sure you can get up there. I think that's brilliant.
I was also thinking about the club gigging scenes from the Disney movie Soul.
Yep. And
So
just,
that would be my reference. Check those scripts out and see what you can steal from them.
Yeah. The Pick of Destiny, right?
Yeah.
School of Rock.
Punchline.
Well, not really, but Detroit Rock City, kind of. I don't know. That's just my favorite movie ever. It's so good. But yeah, I like Soul. There's Ray. Just anything that's in there. Like what are these musicians talking about? You could have musicians sitting there at the bar talking about just sitting there having a drink, talking about getting hustled at this club. You could have some dude who's like a genius savant talking about philosophy through music, or like talking about, if this guy's a musician, talking about adding tension and suspense with your add 9 chords, or how to tell a story through music, or what music really means for you, or
So if you were producing a show like this, and you would have to incorporate a lot of music, I think, but it would also open it up to like really cool cameos.
Yeah, for sure. I know one of my favorite episodes of South Park, they actually released an episode about it, right? It's where Chef, or not an episode, they released an album. So Chef ends up getting sued by Johnny Cochran for like copyright infringement. And then they
Chef
have
paid.
to raise money to hire Johnny Cochran to defend him. And they just get a bunch of musicians together, and it's awesome. Like one of the songs is like DMX, Old Dirty Bastard, and Ozzy Osbourne do a collaboration, and then they get Ween and
And Phil
Ramones.
is back.
Hi, Phil.
Phil is here. So he's arrived. Is it does it sound, is it good?
Phil has arrived.
I'm here.
Hey, Phil Head.
Awesome. We got you. Phil.
Phil is in the house, and ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else.
Woo!
All right.
Okay, I'll just give you a little history right off the bat. Both Brian and Steve are very good friends of mine. Brian played in the same band I did for about 18 years.
Oh, based on true story.
I just changed their last names. Allison also was and is about the same age difference that is in the script. And she's a very talented songwriter and individual artist who played with Steve's and Brian's band is called The Growing Men, and they're out of Toronto, Canada, and the inner village is the beach area. If you know anything about Toronto, it's right along the Lake Ontario, eastern Toronto area. And it's very, very eclectic, and is an inner village by definition, most certainly. If you go onto YouTube and punch in Steve Tamer, Thamer, you will see Brian and Steve play flute and guitar.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I've been writing since about 2008. I've studied under several people, but mostly two very, very well-known directors who go internationally and do mainly films, some documentaries, but mainly feature films. And one did a TV series shared in a TV series for a short period of time. And my coverage person for my other feature scripts and so on is a ex studio executive out of Hollywood, and we've been working very closely for the last, I'd say, well, just about the start of the pandemic, so 2.5 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was such an honor to read your work, Phil.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Did you mind that I played Artie as a Russian gangster? Did you mind? Was it offensive?
No. Listen, one of the things that you'd have a hard time doing is pushing me off my stool, in the sense that I take criticism well. I understand it. I don't suffer fools well, but I certainly understand people who are in the industry having comments, and sometimes it's very, very helpful, and sometimes it's, you pass it by.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The reason that I wrote the script the way it is, and I heard a lot of comments about scenes, scene descriptions and action lines and so on. Everything that I have learned in my studies and fighting through it myself is you don't want to steal away the interpretation ability of those who do everything to make the screenplay work. So screenplay is the creator, everybody else interprets the creation. And so what I was taught and how I've always done it, and it seems to be acceptable for most of the people that I work with, is that your action lines are to the point and succinct. So in other words, you don't say, unless it's really important to the scene or to the character, you don't say, I don't know, 90-pound woman or 290-pound woman dressed in this with a necklace and a certain hairdo. And if it doesn't matter to the story, then let the people that are interpreters. So you've got the director, first of all, you've got many producers at different levels, and you have set director, set deck, you have wardrobe, you have hair and makeup, you have all that. So I heard, I think it was Clint was describing that I should more describe the bar. Well, that's what they do in novels. In screenplays, you keep it succinct, keep it short and to the point. You get across what you need to go to the creators, the director, and so on, so that, and they can say, oh, whether it's an old, stone castle, or whether it's a modern place, or whether it's blah blah blah. As far as the dress is, you can give some personality to the people that your characters are, in the sense that you could say, okay, so he wears, trendy clothing or upscale, or he's a bum, and let them decide whether it's going to be a pair of jeans or a tuxedo. So that's why the action lines are very succinct and very short. Just let them. That's what I was taught. That's what it seems to have worked for me, and that's the way that I do it, because I'm not writing in novels where you describe everything, because it's a visual medium, not a written medium. I'm open for comment.
The one thing I wanted to know was, I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong because I've not written a TV script, but that when you present your first pilot, you also need to include like a 5-year plan or a 5-season arc.
No.
So
no. What you do is you write it. Yeah.
I just want to know what
if
your
you write a pilot
plan is for these characters.
Yeah. Okay. So when you write a pilot, your pilot cannot tell the whole story of the next 13 episodes. Your pilot has to be mainly develop the characters, introduce the story, introduce their issues, introduce how they're trying to get through those issues, and then put in place teasers in each of the categories. And that's why I did so many categories. You got Brian in the doctor's office. Well, there's no point in telling you what's wrong with him, because I want you to come back and find out next episode, or in the next 5 episodes. The way I wrote this was a story A, story B format. So story A is the episodic story, and story B is the continuing characters and character arcs and plot arcs for those people and the issues that they're in. So that's why I opened it up with the doctor's appointment. So if there's something wrong with Brian, we don't know if it's serious. We don't have to have that explanation, because we want it somewhere down the line. It's going to come out in a. And I put a few points in the story where he kind of grabs aside, or favors something, so that just tweaks the audience to say, oh, there is something wrong. I wonder what it is. Well, when you get an audience to wonder what it is, you get them to come back next episode to find out what that is. The deal with Allison going to LA, she's just an ordinary human being. She's not a sex symbol. She's not a wimp. She's not anything. She's a person that, excuse me, that has just an ordinary musician's life, and is not really eccentric one way or the other. And she uses her talent to get picked up by Everton Masters to go to LA. And that's an exciting thing for her, an exciting thing for everybody to learn. And then So why is it down there? And that's why I had Steve say, well, I hope he's interested in your music, adjust your music. So
That's oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
That's one area I really would have liked to have seen you describe her outfit before she got thrown off the stage. Was she actually wearing something that was too sexy or too revealing, or because that would show a lot more about the person who kicked her off the stage.
No, what I was trying to do there, and maybe I missed the point, but I'm open to comments, is to show that it wasn't her being sexy, it was Artie being an a-hole.
Okay, so
and he is the biggest, and that's why you have the reference from Steve. You know, like we've put up with this a-hole so many times, and we've been, and then, oh, Steve, you got to come and see me and call me and come play. And yeah, right. Don't stay up for the call, because that's what Artie is, and that's what I tried to bring out in that, is that Artie is that owner that nobody wants to deal with. But if you want to play and make money and have your fans come by, sometimes you got to do it. But Steve has walked away from that, and he did to Allison what probably, in innuendo terms and subtext, is what he's probably done to Steve and Brian. So that's what I tried to bring out.
Yeah. I was just thinking that could even show more about Artie as a character. What she's wearing.
He will develop as it goes on. If I have a Bible for the first 5 episodes, which is pretty much what producers want, or streamers. So that's pretty much what they want, is a 5-episode Bible, so that they can see the storylines are going for it. So you actually write the characters and the scenes and so on. And I don't know any script in the history of writing that's ever gone to production without the producers and the writers' room inside the studio or inside the production company taking it apart and rewriting it. So you have to make it interesting enough and compelling enough to get them to take it into the writer's room and deal with it, buy it from you or auction it or do whatever. And their people will do 90% of the rewrite.
It's interesting you say that, because I feel like what you said before and what you have here is like a pattern or a template, and you want the director to come in with a bigger vision or the set people to take it and make it their own, or like a star to come and be like, this is the vehicle I want because I want to have a show where I can sing. So that feels like what you've accomplished.
Well, like I said before, the writer is the creator, and you create the story, the characters, the story arc, the character arcs, the plot arcs, the flow, the what works, what doesn't work for the protagonist. The antagonists have their own sort of stream of interest, if you like, or actions. So you want to create it so that a story catches the eye of the person that's going to produce it. I don't produce it. I couldn't afford to produce it. And I'm not a director, and I don't want to be a director. So, but I've worked with 2 fairly good directors, and I've listened to them very carefully, and they don't all agree. 2 directors didn't all agree. But the one thing that I learned that is absolutely ironclad, if you like, is that the creator creates, and the rest of the producing, development, production, filming, and after editing and so on, and post-production is all interpretive. And so if you gave the same script to 2 directors, they would take it in 2 different directions. So that's why I did it the way I did it. And that's why I wrote most of my screenplays and features that way.
Anyone have any thoughts or questions that you'd like to?
Yeah,
I would agree. I mean, in a way, I've said multiple times that I'm a dialogue person, but I do think there needs to be a middle ground. I don't think we need a whole bunch of description, but I think just enough to where we understand and we can visualize something. Because if we don't understand who these characters are, And we may not pick up who they are just based off dialogue. We kind of need just a little bit of like an extra thing just so we can kind of get who this person is that we're reading about.
Okay. So what I did was, excuse me, my asthma's killing me.
Oh.
What I did was I got some conflict between Steve and Brian because in real life they're chalk and cheese, but when they come on stage and play, they are exactly the same persons. So Steve is and I put it in the descriptions that I sent in when I submitted the script. Steve is he likes to have one or two buddies, go for a drink regularly. He lives alone. He's a bit of a recluse. He's a testy old fart, and he's intolerant. But Brian's the absolute opposite. He's just easygoing and fun and wants to have fun and wants to have friends.
Exactly what you're saying right now is perfect. It just needs to be in the script. If you write it,
that's what I had.
You just said,
Yeah,
solid.
that maybe be able to be developed some more, and I agree. But that's why I had them say, "No." Brian says, "I need an agent, or we should have an agent." He goes, "No, we're not having an agent." And maybe we should need a roadie. No. And Steve is absolutely no. So I tried to put that in
15%
there.
off the top. Forget that.
I have a
Overdoing it.
question.
Yes.
What did you think of our interpretations of the characters, and did they match the vision that you had for them when you put them on the paper?
Yeah, I thought the reading was pretty good. There was a couple of delays in there, and I think you were short, if I remember correctly. There
We
was a
did,
post
yes.
asking for more people.
We
So I
had a
think that-
couple people who were sick who this week, and then there was a bit of juggling. And I'm not usually the host. Jacob's usually the host, so part of that was on me. I didn't let people know which roles that they were taking over. For some reason I thought it was done.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
But yeah,
was on me.
so I have another. It's called Zoom Reads. It's on Facebook, and they are a Canadian group that read here. They're very much the same as your group, and they're all professional actors with actor and in Canada. And I as soon as I read that, I put a post on there for some of them to contact you on Facebook to see if
Awesome. Thank
they
you.
would jump in. So, but I don't know if any did, or I don't know.
Yeah, on Facebook, the messages would go to Jacob, unfortunately, so I wouldn't get them. And
Okay.
he was quite
Yeah.
busy, so I'm
And
not
it was
sure.
a fairly short time because I think it was only 2 days ago you posted that.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So
Anybody
is
else got a
this
comment
other
or-
group, you have this post with, is this just for actor people, or can anybody join it?
What's that?
That other group, reading group, is it just?
Yes,
for
no, it's open. You can join it.
Can you post a link to it maybe in the chat for us or somewhere that we can see it?
It's called Zoom Reads
Zoom Reads?
on Facebook. Just go to Zoom
Okay.
Reads on Facebook and tell them that you're associated with this or however, and that you want to maybe jump in. The last, I would say, about 6 weeks, they've been a little bit dry and quiet, but I think that's got to do with pandemic, post-pandemic, and all that kind of stuff. But they still have articles and posting and stuff.
Okay.
I have a question, Phil, for you. Did
Yes.
you learn anything that you weren't aware of when you heard the table reading of your script? Was there something that you were like, oh, that?
Yeah, it's a criticism that I've had from those who have looked at my work before, and that is that that the dialogue sometimes completes and rather than uses more innuendo or subtext, and that's just a bad trait that I have, and I'm working on it. That's nobody's perfect in this world.
You know, one of
and
the
they call it
things
on the
that
nose.
one of the things, because I kind of do that too, or I when I write, the characters all sound the same. I need them to say what I need them to say in order to get whatever. But there's like, you want to get through the scene and have the back and forth. Like an example is agent. We need an agent. The other guy has to say, I don't need an agent. There's a million different ways that you can say that. But it's like when I write it, I just need it out there. So I have the where it's going. And then if I can get like a buddy together and then we can just sit and talk over the lines and like, how could you say this a little bit? And then getting that extra person in there to talk, maybe they'll think of a different way to say it or something like that. And then it just sounds more natural. You start writing it out. And then true, like as we're talking about, once you go through it, like I've taken a couple scripts through the production phases, and when you start attaching names to it and actors, then you start saying, how would you say this? How would you articulate this and make it feel more real? And then that's like a later part of the rewrite. But I'm kind of curious.
That's why I was saying that when it does go into development, then you're going to have a director and he's going to have an opinion. Then you're going to have talent attached and they're going to have an opinion. And then you're going to have all the other departments in casting that are in a crew that all goes, well, I think, her dress should be this way. At this period, it should be this way. Oh, I think this set should be this, and everybody except transportation that has to be at a particular location at a certain time all has an opinion. So, and you, the writer can't get involved in that. And you, it's an insult to the interpreters, which are the director and the producer, developing, director, script, blah, 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 all three. It's kind of an insult if you try to tell them, and that's why I don't use camera directions,
Oh yeah, camera directions.
I use fade in, fade out at the start, and that's it. Because you let the photographer and the DOP do that.
The only time we've seen camera directions in scripts, in produced scripts, is when it's been a
writer director.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, the working scripts do that. That's where the director takes the script and he puts in what he wants to have happen. Minute by minute, word by word, scene by scene.
Yeah, for what we've been reading is what I mean.
Yeah.
Although I agree with you that everything usually gets changed, even if you have the most genius script, it's going to get changed a million times. I think you should still go at it with a strong story and strong descriptions and strong everything so that they do have something to go based off of. I've never seen a script go into production without that. You have to have that base first, and then they can change it and do whatever they want. But I don't think it's going to be an insult to them by just describing things a bit more. Like you don't want to put color in there. You don't want to put camera things or direction, but just describing the characters a bit more or describing the location a bit, just so we get into the story a bit more. Because we're also thinking about actors as well. Actors want to be in the story. They want to understand the characters. They want to understand where they're at.
Yeah. So what I've been taught, or what I've learned over my short 38 years as an actor in 2008, so 14 years as a writer, and working with two directors, is they don't want you to, unless it's pertinent to the scene, is the way I've been taught and the way I've been given it, unless it's pertinent to the scene or pertinent to describing the character originally. Like if you're describing a thug, you're not going to have him in a tuxedo unless he's a thug in a tuxedo, in which case you would make that description. But you can't go on and on about the color of the hair and the length of the hair and how old they are. Well, you put in how old they are, but wrinkles on their face and blah blah. Unless that is very important to the story.
Totally.
And that's what I've been taught. So
correct. I think
I praise it.
Yeah, I think we're just missing a bit of more about the character's personality, describing a bit of them, describing a bit of more of where they are. It doesn't need to be super detailed like wrinkles or colors or anything like that. a good way to look at this is honestly go, like I said before you jumped on, go to some scripts that you feel fits the style of what you want to make. So read a few pilots, read a few episodic scripts, and see how they wrote their scripts. And those are produced, went into production, went into writers' rooms, and they were made. So it's a good thing to just take a look at things that are professionally made just to see and, kind of
Well,
teach yourself that
I have
flow.
done that, and I've read a lot of published scripts. But what I find is the most times the published scripts that you get that have those details are either development or shooting scripts or early directors' interpretation of the script, so that they make notes to themselves for that, and that puts in the explanation. Okay, I want this character to be this, and so I'm going to do blah 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 and put it in.
I have a question.
That's
Yep.
interesting.
I have a question. The fun thing about constructive feedback, it's to help construct something into a better form than it was originally in.
Absolutely, I'm making
Yes,
notes.
and we should all be grateful for constructive feedback, and we should be grateful for the forum that we have in which we can give constructive feedback. So yay for constructive feedback, right? We should be grateful for it.
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
I'm listening very carefully. Believe me.
Isn't it wonderful that
I
we
got a
can all
question.
feel safe to give constructive feedback? Isn't it wonderful?
I got a question for you, Phil. So I see what you're getting at, and it does make a lot of sense, right? You're making a bare bones template of, this is kind of it, so that everybody can come in and, like you said, one director comes in and sees Steve as a stocky chain smoker. He writes that in to the script, and then later we see that in the production and shooting script. So I totally get that. So I'm curious as to having kept this script as minimal as you did, what stuff were you putting in your Bible? What stuff did you have written as far as characters? Anything that we didn't see that wasn't in the script that you would be giving to a production team? I'm curious about that.
Well, if I presented it to a producer, which I'm still working on it with my coverage agent, and there's some fine tuning to go yet. And I do appreciate the feedback, because that'll help me as I get it back to her for that. The Bible will be, as I said, it's a story A, story B format. So story A being the episodic story. Hopefully it ends in that episode, but may carry over. And story B is the continuing story of the characters and their lives and the things that go on and on. So the Bible will be episode 1 after the pilot, 2, 3, 4, and 5 will be, and it will give an overview, if you like, a synopsis of what that will be. So there'll be the carrying on of Allison in LA. There'll be the carrying on of Brian's problems. They'll be carrying on with the problems that they have with the owners and the managers of the entertainment venues. A number of those things that I put in there as pilot teasers to carry on down the line. So that the Bible will cover all of those points.
And do you have your character descriptions or anything in there, or are you left?
Oh, yeah. No. Who they are and their attitudes and all that is all secondary to the script. It's all supportive of the script.
Do you envision this as a
attitudes
musical show?
Attitudes are interesting. They can stop us from really learning what we can from constructive feedback. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you since Brian and Steve, have they read this?
Oh, yeah, Brian has.
I want to know if they have I want to hear those personally. I want to read the details of the actual instruments and I want them to really geek out about the music.
Well, there is going to be a lot of music in it.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're playing, you're going to see music. And that's why you see I don't like using the term morph, which means I just go time passes. So you would actually see, while all the things are going on in the bar, you got drunks being taken out, you got people dancing, you got waitress and waiters all mingling through, you've got people interacting on the bed. So that is all going to be part of it. But that's the interpretation that I am leaving to the director rather than putting it into action. So I say, they come to the stage, or they took a drunk out, and then I'll just let them expand on that. And that would be the development phase, and the shooting scripts that the director and all of the other crew members that are heads of departments would jump in on at the time. So, but there will be a lot of music, and I want it to be very musical. And if you guys go to Steve Tamer, Thamer, on YouTube and watch it, you will see exactly what I'm talking about.
If you wouldn't, excuse me, if you wouldn't mind even just putting a link to some of his music in the reading, that'd be awesome. In the YouTube reading. Then people can go and check him out too. That could be really good for people.
In the chat, you mean?
Later on, if you wanted to put it on the YouTube, but I can also look that up and do that for you.
Or I could put it on the Tuesday Table Read Tuesdays
yeah, exactly.
Facebook page. Yeah, I'd be glad to do that.
Cool.
What?
Pardon me?
I say they're a hoot.
Yeah. Nice. So, you've had experience with getting your screenplays produced. Have you only had that experience of writing the initial one, or have you had experience writing the rewrites as well, being a part of the rewrites?
Well, all of my scripts, I'll tell you very succinctly, and this is so true. I'll stay up for 12 hours and finish a script after 3 or 4 weeks of working on it, and I'll go to bed, and there's the first draft, and I'll get up in the morning and I'll go, holy crap, who wrote that crap?
Every creator's experience.
Yep. And you say, oh man, has anybody ever studied format before? So and then I just start writing and rewriting, and that's what writing is rewriting and rewrite and rewrite, and then get somebody to when you're happy with its the third or fourth draft, then get it out to somebody who's a professional and say, what do you think? And that's what I've used is three major professionals, 2 directors and 1 executive script VP out of Hollywood in a major, actually 5 major studios over 12 years. But she's very, very good and helps me out a great deal. And is not accommodating at all in terms of just placating you. She says it like it is.
Which is good. Yeah, it's
that's great.
Difficult as a writer to hear that stuff from people at first, but then you're like, okay, now what is it that I can actually learn from this? And what do I have to?
If I may, I think it's also useful to see it performed in a format like this. Then you can actually see how people interpret it and how people feel about it and what input they have. And that way you can hear it from multiple people, the constructive feedback that can help your screenplay even better. And then when you hear that feedback, it's important to appreciate it and understand that people are coming from a good place when they give you feedback on your work.
Yep, absolutely.
Trust me, Phil, I've had many, many scripts with red marker all over it. My first year at college, just being in the little writer's room and getting my scripts back and just the whole thing marked up in red. And the teacher would always say, it's the red markings of love because we care.
Like Phil, I literally have been in professional writing since I was 17 years old. I took print journalism in college, and I have an understanding sort of like Morgan. We aren't in the same writing circles, but we both understand learning how to be edited, learning how to take constructive criticism and understanding that constructive criticism is to help construct our work to be better.
Yeah.
It's not an insult to us. It's not an insult to our abilities. It's to help us to become better. And that's something that we do here. We help others to reconstruct their work so it can become better. We help each other to become better here.
Yep.
We
No,
all-
I agree
we-
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to go from, but I think that's the difference between if you're going to be in it, not you, just like if anybody is going to be in it for fun, or if you want to move on to the professional side of things. It's that it's hard when you create something to put it out there, and then what are people going to think? And
Well,
because it's
Absolutely.
even hard for ourselves, like you say, you go to sleep and it's the most amazing thing you've ever written, and that's been written in the whole entire world, and then you wake up and you're like, oh, what is this? This isn't
Like
what I
if you
went to bed with.
if you can't handle criticism, if you absolutely cannot handle it, maybe writing, maybe producing works that other people are going to look at and have an opinion on, maybe it's something that you shouldn't be doing, because writing is going to require people having opinions. Writing and people reading your work, people are going to have opinions, and you're going to have to understand people are going to have opinions. Maybe they'll have opinions that will help you to construct
Talk in
your work
general.
in a better fashion.
No, that's absolutely true. And like I said, I've been doing this since 2008. So what's that? 24
Well,
years.
everybody's
And
got
I've
different writing experience. Everybody's got different experience, and nobody's trying to hurt you with their opinion. That's something you're going to have to understand as you continue your journey.
oh, I totally understand
Nobody's
it. You don't,
ever too old
No,
to
I-
learn.
Yeah, I get it. I get it for sure.
I totally understand that.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, thank you for putting your stuff out there. It definitely opened my eyes to different things and different ways of going about doing it. Yeah, any further thoughts, any questions, comments, concerns? Anything else that you'd like to say, Phil?
No, thanks for taking it on. I really appreciate it. This won a quarterfinalist in an international screenplay contest last. It was August. It was the August, so it was announced in September, and I was very pleased about that. There was a lot of scripts that were in there. So quarterfinalist was the highest I've placed.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Sounds fascinating.
Banging.
Congrats.
I don't know if you heard this earlier, but I was telling you before you joined that I saw this script going either it could go as like an adult comedy animation or a Only Murders in the Building type of light comedy, or it could be like a Marvelous Mrs. Maisel time period piece. Like, but I think that's exactly what you intended. Like, you gave me the pattern and I projected all my own creative vision on it. So I see what you did there, and I think that's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's certainly.
I wrote it for pretty much present day, because these guys have been together just a little over 30 years now. So I wrote it present day, and their ages. I actually dumbed down their ages about 10 years, because they're all in their mid 60s now.
I put them back up, make them 60.
So.
Yeah, I got tons of people in my family that play music, that gig, that in New York. I got an uncle who plays down in Yuma, Arizona, if anybody in the world knows where that's at. And he rocks it at all the little concert venues down there. You got cousins that are going up and down the country playing. So music's something that's really special to my heart. So I totally get the whole gigging vibe, I mean, there's a lot there, especially like with the venues. I mean, if you look back at the history of music, especially like, in the early days, I mean, venues were hijacking musicians, and wouldn't pay him anything. So I think it'll be an interesting show. I mean, everybody loves music, but there really isn't that much really going on behind the life, I guess. You know what I mean? It's interesting. I might actually one of the things, this is just a recommendation to you. There's a show called Bear. I don't know if you've seen it, but check it out. It's a show about the restaurant business. And most shows about food is either front of the house or just a show about a restaurant or something. And this is what it's like to be a chef at that level, and what the stress is like in the real world of working in the kitchen, and the whole attitude and everything of it is about that. And the only reason I bring that up is because, I mean, there's like a lot of shows about going to see music, but like, what's it really like being that, like, the inside of the musician's life,
Yep.
The hopes and the dreams, you get the phone call you think is going to be the one that actually is going to be your shot, and then it's not, and you're disappointed, and then you get called out for that one gig, and so give that a look through, see what you think about that, and see how you could apply kind of that inside style.
Well, I come from playing in a band because I played with Brian.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you play?
It was a different group, but we played. It was four of us. I played congas. We had a drummer and two guitarists, Brian being one of them. And so I kind of know what it's like to have to go to the rental shop and pick up all the equipment and be the roadie.
Yeah.
And set it up and be there on time, and then listen to all the complaints, or not the complaints, but the sort of orders or the suggestions from the venue owners and that sort of thing. So,
and then you go to the rental shop, and one of the guys is a stoner and he forgets the mic cable that you need, and you got to go back.
After learning that, I had a list.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got an idea. You got to get your. I remember in like high school, we had to go to like our friends' boyfriends' bands all the time, and they were terrible. So you should have like a group of girls in one episode that are all like, "Oh, this sucks, but we have to go because there's dating."
Yeah.
My ex-husband had a band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. He was good. I liked it. I liked watching him, but when there's those grandiose ideas that, oh, I could be a rock star if I didn't have a family and kids to raise, that kind of takes the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Well, I have a good friend of mine. His name is Frank Zerone, and he plays in a band called One, and they play all over the United States. Not as much in Canada, although they have played a few, like Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto, but they mainly tour the States. He's in Florida all of February. He's playing all the major cities down there in the venues.
There's so many interesting characters that can come out of this, man.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Music's crazy.
character.
Yeah. Then you talk about boy bands and K-pop and, all that. I mean, there's just so much to go in. And then you've got like post-punk goth rock and all the punk rockers, and then how skinheads have come out into the music industry. I mean, and
Witch House,
so much,
Yeah. And now you got all the hip hop and rap going. So
yeah,
lots of different genres. But these guys are more, like I said, I'll post on the Facebook site the how to get the YouTube
do it
app, or not app, but their posts up. And they have stuff going back probably 15 years, still posted on that site. So I'll put that there, and if you want to, and you'll see right away what I mean between the two of them. Just watching them and listening to them, you'll know exactly the personalities that I tried to bring across.
All right. Well, hell yeah. Thank you, Phil. That was an honor. It definitely taught us a lot.
Well, thank you for all your reading and feedback and stuff, because that all helps. And I did make notes.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, thank you
very
guys.
much.
Thank you, Phil,
Okay.
for having us read your play and not play, screenplay, sorry. And thank you all of you for everyone who's attended for reading it.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you
maybe
for
if, maybe
coming.
if when I finish with my coverage agent, the full feature that I'm working on that I have very high hopes for, maybe I'll submit it to see if you would think that would be a good read.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a
Phil,
it's a 100-page feature.
we're actually having a screen thing in June, and I've never submitted either. Maybe you could come join us and read mine.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It would be an honor to have you and read possibly my work as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cool.
definitely.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your experience and your what has happened before with your other screenplays.
Oh, happy.
Yeah, it
No,
all
I'm
helps.
really glad that, first of all, that I was honored to be selected by your administration for the read and all your comments and stuff. And it's good to hear from a different cross section of people.
Yeah,
Total.
just careful. We're not an administration here. We have nothing to do with politics, man.
I'm talking about the people that were running the
Yes.
Yeah.
That was me. I was like, Phil has put in every single time we have a contest, he's put something in. I really think we should just put one of his in this year. So
Yeah.
we should give him a
Awesome.
chance.
Well,
So
thank you. I
it's cool.
appreciate it.
All right.
So everybody have a
Thank you
good
guys
night.
very much.
All
Yeah,
right.
next time you bring your musical instruments and
We'll jam.
Yeah, right.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll let you satisfy that by going onto YouTube and watching Steve and Brian.
Yes, yeah.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
All right.
You,
All right.
I just have to get that spelling again. I wrote it in.
See you guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
you take care. Take care,
Have a
everyone.
good one. Thanks, guys.
Take
Thank
care, all.
you.
Enjoyed it.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Bye.